Okay, stand up. Stretch. Breathe. Who was on the cruise?
Yeah!
Yeah. Did you guys have a good time? Awesome. Who's going to Summit? Is there anyone here who has decided today they are going to Summit, no matter what? Yeah, awesome. Summit is like 10 times bigger than this and will turn your world upside down, let me just tell you. Okay, stretch it out, take a minute. Ready? All right, sit back down. Get your notepads back out. We're going to bring up our next speaker, our special guest speaker. He has lost 100 pounds with P90X, and every time that infomercial comes on, he's talking. He's all over it. He won $50,000 with the Beachbody Challenge, so when Wayne Weise is talking about that, yeah, give him a hand. 100 pounds. That's a big deal. So when Wayne Weise is talking about that Beachbody Challenge is a big, big deal. Make sure your customers understand the importance of that. He's a 2-time top 10 elite coach. He has 21 lifetime diamonds. He won the Leadership Award in 2012 at Summit, and he is the creator of the 5 Steps. All the way from Ohio, I'd like to welcome Mr. Tommy Mygrant.
I'll tell you what, you guys are so lucky. Like, I'm normally full of energy, but when I have to pee really bad, like I do right now, it's even better. So, I've been up here like drinking water, chugging water all morning. So, how many of you in the room have absolutely no idea who the hell I am? And that's perfectly fine. I love that, which is great, because you have no idea that like people know my silver underwear on the commercial, you know. So we're not gonna have silver underwear jokes for you guys. What an honor for me. Obviously, I talk a little bit loud, so if you have hearing aids, turn them down. I happen to talk a little bit loud. I sometimes talk fast as well. I try to tell myself to slow down, but because I'm a high school football coach who's a super passionate, driven-hearted guy, sometimes it comes out really fast. So I don't know what I'm gonna say today. And I don't know what you're going to get from that, but the first thing I want to do is just share my story and the blessing that Beachbody has brought into my life. I mean, 7 years ago, I was just a morbidly obese, depressed. I can't even begin to tell you how deeply my life has changed because of Beachbody. I was the guy who was working at an insurance agency. I was coaching high school football. I was heavily involved in my local community. And I had some strong leadership skills, but I also had some very bad personal life skills, like eating food until I was miserable, until I was sitting on the couch completely depressed about myself. Feeling like absolute crap when I would go to my closet. I didn't have anything that I could wear. I felt fat all the time. I was always broke. I was making money. I was making my little hometown. I lived in a town of 8,000 people. How many of you live in a place that's bigger than 8,000 friggin' people, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and Chicago, what a great city. I haven't really spent much time in Chicago, but I got to go to the Cubs game. And I'm a secret Cubs fan, even though I'm from Cleveland. And Goody, so Goodman says to me, he goes, hey man, so Lyndsi was asking me to come to Chicago. And I'm like, you know what, I really need to stay home with my team this time, right? Because I have a big team in our local area. And when we run our Super Saturdays, probably if we get 250 people, like 200 of them are from my team. So we do a lot of face-to-face, right? And we're gonna demonstrate some of that for you today. But I said to Goody, just give me tickets to the Cubs game, and I'm there. So that's all it took. I'm easy to please. So, but with Beachbody, let me tell you something. 7 years ago, I was morbidly obese. I was severely depressed. I was going really nowhere fast in my life. I thought I had what was a good life, but it was a very comfortable life when it came to income. I was the guy that was always maxed out on my credit cards. I was completely broke, right? So I was making money at work, but I had no idea what to do with money. Like on my $3,000 credit card, it was like if I paid off $300 on it, that meant I had more money to spend, right? How many of you have ever done that before, right? Raise your hands. I know if you're not raising your hand, you're a freaking liar. Okay? You know, and that was me. I was the guy that I picked up a set of P90X, and it was when my sister, I have one sister, and I'm really super close to my sister. I've always wanted to be a protector for my sister. I've always wanted to love my sister. I've always wanted to be there for her. And when her husband was dying of kidney failure, I was the first one in line at the Ohio State Transplant Center to get tested. Except they told me this. They said, Tommy, you're too fat, your cholesterol is too high, your blood pressure is too high. And that's when it hit me. At that time, 7 years ago, I was 32, and I'm in no position to even get tested. They won't even test me because I'm too friggin' fat. And I thought, man, I'm too fat to help somebody. I have to do something. And I had a buddy who had bought P90X off of a commercial, and he had introduced it to me. About 6 months before this, he and I actually did P90X together. It was his set of workouts. You know, and we did them for 35 days, and then like most people, we stopped, right? So I had done P90X one time for about a month, and I had lost 13 pounds. And then, you know, I was the guy though I was doing P90X in the morning, and then I was going and having biscuits and gravy for breakfast after the workout, right? I knew nothing about nutrition. So 6 months later, when this happened with my brother-in-law, I knew that P90X would work. And the introduction actually came from a friend who had bought it off of a commercial. And so I called him up and I said, hey man, can I borrow your P90X workouts? You know, and he's like, yeah man, I'll get them to you. Well, a week goes by, you know, he's not home, he's working 12-hour shifts at the local factory. So I'm like, I don't have time to waste. So I called the company up and I ordered P90X. Okay, and I was the guy that just started with the workouts. I didn't want any shakes. At that time we didn't have Shakeology, we had recovery drink and those things. But this was me in the first month of workouts with Tony Horton. I could barely get through that first warm-up, right? In the I felt like I was going to die in the warm-up. You know, and when you're sitting here and you're stretching, and he goes, hey, get that recovery drink. I'm like, you know what, you're full of shit. You're just trying to get my money. I didn't want to spend money on anything else, right? I just wanted to work out. I just wanted to push play. But fortunately, Uncle Carl is a super smart individual, and he knows, he constantly threads in the messaging of the additional things that people need. Because we understand something. People need more than just a workout in order to change their lives, right? How many of you have heard this equation before? Fitness plus nutrition plus support equals success, right? And quite honestly, people need all three of those things. They need a fitness program, they need the nutritional side of things, which we offer them. They also need the support and accountability, which is our job as a coach. And so after my first round, I lost like 47 pounds, and on the tapes they say, you know, go to the Team Beachbody website, there's message boards. We didn't have Facebook back then, right? This was back during MySpace days. How many people remember MySpace, right? So listen, at some point you're going to be saying that was back during the Facebook days. So some of the things that I'm going to talk about and the skills that you're going to learn, they're going to transcend just using Facebook, right? Because you don't want your business to crash if Facebook crashes. Anybody want that to happen? No, okay? So I went to the website and I signed up and they assigned me to a coach. I was one of those free customers. And I was blessed to get a coach. He was in the room. Melanie Bowman is my coach. And Melanie didn't try to push anything on me. Melanie loved me through my journey. It's the best thing that she ever did for me. She loved me through my journey. She listened to me every day. I would chat with her from my insurance office, right? You know, and I would chat with her, and it became evident that Melanie just loved me as a person. But after about a month or two of that, she put coaching in front of me, and she said, hey, you should be a coach. You're so awesome at motivating people, and you've got a story. She was the first person to encourage me to put my pictures out there. And when you're a fat guy that's lost 50 pounds, that's a hard thing to do. When you've lived 20 years with this evil mindset about yourself, being embarrassed, like having nightmares of embarrassment about being naked in front of people, and you don't even want to go to the beach and take your shirt off. You're going to put your pictures out there for the world? And fortunately for me, Melanie, and fortunately for, honestly, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people whose lives have been touched by my story through the infomercials and through this company, fortunately for me, Melanie was a great encourager, and she encouraged me to take a risk. She encouraged me to put something out there. She filled me with belief that there was value to who I was and there was value to my story. We can't forget the human side of what we do. And there's so many little nuggets in what I just said. Be a great encourager. Love people where they're at. Encourage them to step outside of their comfort zone. Encourage them to see value that in what they're doing, that it will inspire other people. But when she first put coaching in front of me, I didn't want to be a coach. I wasn't even sure that the $100 sign-up fee was going to go through my credit card. And I didn't want to be embarrassed if my crap bounced when I signed up, right? I couldn't afford to be a coach. How many people in this room felt like that when you first signed up? You're like, I can't afford to be a coach. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, you made the best decision in your life because you can't afford not to be a coach. Can't afford not to be a coach. Because being a coach has drastically changed my life beyond this. So I became a coach. She prompted me for about maybe 2 or 3 months. I didn't say yes on the first time. The first time she put it in front of me, I did not say yes. In fact, I wasn't even like, but at that point, I was just glad that I bought recovery drink. That was my next step. I bought recovery drink, right? Okay. Man, I really like the programs. I've lost 50 pounds. Maybe I'll try this recovery drink that everybody's talking about that tastes so good, like an Orange Julius or whatever, you know? So she encouraged me to be a coach, and finally, after a few months of this, I said yes. And in April of 2008, 6 years ago this month, I became a Beachbody coach and started a brand new team of my own, and Melanie and I have been close friends, and our team has now grown to about 3,000 coaches around the country and in Canada. And we have been extremely blessed in our lives, whether that's financially, whether that is just the relationships that we've made, the friendships we've made with people from around this country, getting outside of my hometown. Hell, when I first signed up to be a coach, I had never even been on a friggin' plane. That's the truth. The first time I traveled was when I became a Beachbody Challenge finalist. And fortunately for me, because I would have let the excuse of money not keep me from going to Summit. Because remember, I was a broke guy. I was still broke. I still had maxed out credit cards. Right? Fortunately for me, I was chosen as a finalist, which meant that Beachbody paid my way to get to Summit. And I got to tell you, I will never miss another Summit again because it's so drastically life-changing when you get to an event that size. Bigger event, bigger vision. How many of you are kind of on the fence about going? You want to go, but it's like in your head, you can't put your mind around paying for the plane ticket and paying for the room and the expense of it, right? Let me tell you something. You're no more than 12 friggin' challenge packs away from paying for your trip. You can work your way to get to Las Vegas. If you're willing to work, you can start at zero and do something incredible with your life. If you're willing to work. If you're willing to see something, if you're willing to get out of your own comfort zone. And this business has blessed me tremendously. Not only have I traveled to Summit, but I've been able to travel to the south of France and bike through the south of France as a top 10 coach and to Tahiti and on several successful trips. Just took my wife and my little baby on a cruise, right? And she had never traveled either. And so it was just an incredible thing for me. But I was a diamond coach for 2 years. And after 2 years, my first 6 months in the business, how many of you are in your first 6 months in the business? Okay, my first month in the business, you want to know how much money I made? I made $50, and it's because I signed my wife up and got the bonus for signing her up. But I made $50. That was my first month. In the first 6 months of my business, I made less than $500. In the first 6 months of my business. Imagine if I had stopped because it wasn't happening yet. Because the majority of us don't come in. I didn't come in with an understanding of how to build a network marketing business. I came in just being passionate about our programs and passionate about what it had done for my life and wanting to share that with people. But there are some things that you need to learn if you want to build a business. If you want to build a business, right? You can go out there and you can do two things with this. You can treat it like a hobby, you can treat it like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it will pay you like a freaking hobby, right? How many of you want to make a hobby amount of money? And that's fine. If you want to make, $200, $300. My first first goal as a coach was to make a couple $100 a month to pay for my fitness habit. That was my first goal, right? I didn't have a big vision for this when I first started. I wasn't thinking about, and all of a sudden here I am 6 years later going, you know what, if I do X, Y, and Z, I'm less than 2 years away from making 7 figures in a year. 6 years ago, I wanted to make $200 a month. This business can do a lot of things in your life, and it's absolutely incredible what it can do. But if you want to build a business, you have to learn how to build a business. You're going to have to learn some people skills, and we're going to demonstrate some of those to you today. How many of you, this is what I would do. The first thing I want you to write down is this: valuing the business. And you should be writing that down. If you want to be serious, you want to learn, I don't know what I'm going to say today. Some of it's going to be over your head, some of it under your feet. But some of what I say today is going to come right friggin' at your chest, and that's what you want to catch. Okay? Whatever those 2 or 3 things are that are speaking to you, and you're going, man, I really need to do that. Man, I really need to get better at that. Maybe it's just as simple as I need to put my fat picture out there. Like I did. That was my first step, right? But let me talk about this business. How many of you have ever thought about starting a business, a traditional business? Like you thought about starting a restaurant. You thought about opening up something else. I actually, about 15 years ago, had an incredible idea for a restaurant chain called Mac and Dogs, and it was going to be this family restaurant, right? And it was going to be like Chuck E. Cheese, but it was going to have like hamburgers and hot dog people running around with macaroni noodles, and like there was going to be a kids' play area. It was going to be really cool, but it was all going to be family-based food and family-based fun, based on like American like cooking out type stuff, right? But then when I sat there and thought about it, like, that will never happen. I would need at least $500,000 to start my first Mac and Dogs. And then, not only would I need $500,000 to start my first Mac and Dogs, I'm gonna have to work like a friggin' slave and be a slave to that building and that kitchen and those people. There's no way that I'm ever gonna have a life outside of that restaurant if I want it to grow into something. The difference between our business and traditional business is this. In traditional business, you have to invest a lot, and it takes a long time to break even or earn a profit. And you're tied down to that business because it's a brick and mortar type deal, right? You're tied down to it. So you might be $250,000 in, $500,000 in, and it might take 5 to 10 years of your hard work before you ever see a dime of profit. Now let me explain the business that you're in as a Beachbody coach. Dude, it's $140 to $205 to get started on a friggin' challenge pack. That's your initial investment. $200 friggin' for a business that, first of all, how fast can you break even on $200? It certainly isn't going to take you 5 years unless you just completely suck. Right? It certainly isn't. I mean, $200, I got people on their first day that made $200. Went out and found their first 3 challengers. And made $70 for a challenge pack and broke even on their first day. And started doing their fitness for free and started drinking their shake for free and started making friends for free. That's how quick it can happen to break even. You won't find that in any other business. Not only that, but do you guys understand something? If you don't understand our compensation plan, and I will tell you that 99.5% of coaches have no idea what our compensation plan, they just have a heart for helping people, but they also have a dream for themselves. And I'm going to tell you, if you have a dream for yourself, whether that dream is to make, $1,000 a week, or whether it's just to make enough to walk away from your job, or whether it's to make enough that you can go build a friggin' orphanage somewhere, I don't know what your dream is or what that vision is, but if you have a dream, and that dream is to earn income, you better understand how we get paid and what the maximum potential is of that and how that happens. Do you guys understand this? In our compensation plan, you can be a coach 25 different times. You can actually have 25 coach centers of your own. I'm a coach 3 times, which means this: I got to sponsor my rock star self twice. So here's the question I have for you. Are you the kind of coach? Do you want to sponsor yourself? If you were a coach, would you want to sponsor you with your work ethic and your vision and your commitment to what we are and what we do? Would you sponsor your coach, yourself as a coach? How many of you would love to sponsor me? I would love to have a coach like me. And listen, and this is what I'm saying, and we have to be real. We have to be honest. We have to be real. I saw maybe 10 hands go up in a room of 500. But here's what I'm going to tell you. If you're not yet that person, you can be that person. You can become that person. You can learn to do what we do as long as you keep it simple, as long as you keep it basic, and you master the basics, and you do them over and over and over, and you show somebody else how to do the same thing. How many of you can master some little basic things that we do as coaches and get really good at that and do it month after month? If I tell you what those basic things are, okay, here's the basics. Challenge groups. I don't know, you've only heard it 7 times from people up here on this screen, right? Challenge groups, challenge packs, okay? And you know what, I would tell you this, that most of us understand that part. We understand the challenge groups and challenge packs part. Where we drop the ball is this next thing. There's 2 ways that you can earn money in this business. The first way is to go out there and retail, to go out and find challengers and enroll people in challenge packs. And listen, maybe you're making Success Club month after month, right? And you're out there and you're getting a ton of Success Club points. Okay, but you're going, I'm not earning any team money. We have to understand our compensation plan, right? That building a team pays drastically more than just retailing challenge packs. I'm not telling you not to retail challenge packs. I'm telling you to master the second part of our business, which is pretty friggin' simple. It's this: upgrade people to coaches. When you look for the green light moments in your challengers, right? When they go from being a participant to being slightly enthusiastic. How many of you have seen people that are slightly enthusiastic, maybe after like 3 or 4 weeks, they become enthusiastic, right? Like, oh my God, I can't believe it, my size 8's fit. Hey man, I wore a size 8 at one point. I did, I put my wife's jeans on, and I'm like, man, those fit me. Damn, I'm pretty good, that's good, you know? Hey. What a visual, she said. You know you like that visual, come on. Come on.
I just got the silver underwear on.
The silver underwear is out of your head now and the size 8s are on. If you haven't seen my silver underwear, you can go to your Team Beachbody Coach website and look at the join button. Because I'm the guy in the silver underwear on your friggin' join button. That's me, silver undies. And that picture was taken 6 years ago. I'm nowhere near as fit as I was at that point. That was like my most fit when and how many of you kind of had some ups and downs in your fitness, right? Hey man, you know what, I had some back pain. I struggled the last 2 years. And what a blessing for me that X3 came out, because now I have 0 back pain. And now the Fix is out. And in the first week of using the Fix nutritional plan last week, I dropped 8 pounds in a week. And it's the first time in 2 years that I have felt so solid about my eating. And I'm like, man, I can do this, right? That thing can change some lives. Just, who would have thought that little colored containers could change so many freaking lives? Those little colored containers, matched with any of our fitness programs, can end obesity in our country. They can, as long as we're willing to work and share that with people. So challenge groups, challenge packs, upgrading people to coaches. Okay? Write this other thing down. Form. F-O-R-M. So you hear a lot of these leaders on the screen and they're talking about, building relationship, asking questions, blah, 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 right? Okay, but form is actually a method and a process that you can learn to do those things. You can get better at your people skills, better at your understanding skills, listening skills. Form in the 5 steps. If you learn how to 5-step people, which I'm going to tell you, how many of you would love to see me not just tell you what the 5 steps are, but to actually bring people up here and 5-step them in front of you the way that I do it? Okay, because we're going to do that. Because here, let me simplify this. This is what I do. I build 1 challenge group a month. And I promote that challenge group, and I invite to that challenge group, and I do my follow-ups. Invite, you know that first vital behavior, invite, invite, invite? I wish it also said follow up, follow up, follow up. Because a lot of you are talking to people, but you're not even keeping like a list of your prospects, and so you lose the conversation, and you don't have follow-up skills. So you need to learn follow up, follow up, follow up. Okay? But the 5-step process, let me explain what the 5-step process was, because 3 years ago, we were trying to figure things out in this network, how to get things duplicatable, that we could teach other people what we did. Because at that time, we were basically just a bunch of P90X fanatics going, do P90X, and running into like trees. And going, why is this network not growing? Why are we still at 10,000 people? Because we didn't have a plan. You guys are the beneficiaries. You're the next generation of people that have inherited a plan that is put together so solidly that is in the form of a system that all you have to do is learn that system. You have been handed a gift from all the hard work, trials, and tribulations of people like my coach, Melanie Bolin, and myself, and the people like Denise Needham from the company who went through a lot of struggle to come up with this plan. This plan was put together by a lot of really smart people who understand business. And you either follow that plan and follow that system, or you go it alone and try to do it your own way. And I'm going to tell you, you're not smarter than Carl Deichler. Are you? You're not. You're not smarter than Denise Needham, who has, how many years in the industry do you have? 15 years she's been working in this industry. How many of you have been in network marketing for 15 years? None of us. She's done a lot of groundwork to put this training stuff together. So listen, that system is called the Challenge Group System. It is a system. It's a system. We know that the majority of the best coaches started as customers first. What was I? Was I a customer first? Was I a customer that ran in and said, give me everything, I'm going to spend $700 on everything you got, and I'm going to be a coach, and I'm going to build a team of 3,000 people and make X amount of money a year? Was I that guy? I was just a coach. So many of you are out there and you get pissed off at people when they don't want everything right away. How many of you have gotten pissed off because somebody doesn't want the entire challenge pack right away? And you know why? Because you're making it about yourself and your own 2 points. Versus saying, you know what, I'm going to love you where you're at. And you know what? Here's what I know. Uncle Carl's pretty smart, and I know that if I can just get you to push the play button and keep you on track and get you to do that consistently, that if you do that for a month or 2 months, that every time you push play and every time you sweat, there's a commercial about Shakeology on that thing. And I'm going to let that commercial sell you on the upgrade. There's a commercial about coaching, and I'm going to let that commercial sell you on being a coach. So that when I put coaching in front of you, it's not going to be a foreign thing because I kept you pushing play. Our job is pretty simple. Our first job with challengers is this, right? We get a challenge group, and our job is, so many of us, we run these challenge groups, but I don't think that we understand that when we start a challenge group, every one of those challengers is a coaching training. And while they're a challenger, they're being trained on the vital behavior of what? Being a product of the product. And we need to groom them and train them to do what coaches do. What do coaches do on the product of the product? We do what? We push play every day. Okay, and we drink 1 to 16 shakes every single day. Or somewhere in between, right? Because we get all those backups and we're like, man, I gotta chug this stuff in a hurry. Get rid of the backup in my closet, you know? But our job with challengers is pretty simple, is to keep people on track. It's to allow them the opportunity to learn how to become a product of the product. So that way when we give them the upgrade to coach, which is where most coaches are missing. You're not putting the upgrade in front of people, okay? You're not looking for green light moments. But when we put that in front of them, they're already accustomed to doing 33% of what we do, right? You're 33% of the work of getting that person to be an exemplary coach that goes out there and crushes it. 33% of the work is done in the first month of them being a challenger. As long as we get them to understand the vitality of pushing play and drinking their shake every single day and what that does for them, and keep them on track with that. But the upgraded coach, okay? How many of you would agree that maybe you don't understand exactly when or how or why to put coaching in front of somebody, right? To actually introduce coaching to them. So here's what I do with my challengers is this. I look for what I call green light moments. Green light moments. Moments of enthusiasm where they're more than just somebody who bought a challenge pack. They become somebody who is a little bit excited about what this has done for them. Maybe they send me a private message and they say, man, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for getting me into this program, man. I lost 10 pounds in this first month. Or whatever they say, right? Or maybe they're the first person to like post in the challenge group every day and you can tell that they're excited. But there's a moment of enthusiasm that I'm looking for. And then here's what I do with coaches when I 5-step them on the upgrade. You guys, here's what I'm going to do. Here's how simple it is to put coaching in front of somebody. If I teach you how simple it is, I'm not going to teach you unless you're going to do it. Okay? Because we need more coaches. Why do we need more coaches, man? Because the more coaches we have, the more miles that are running, the more people are getting helped, and the more that we put a huge and bigger dent in this friggin' obesity trend. And that's where my heart is to help people that need help. Because I was that guy. So I'm not going to show you how to upgrade people to coaches unless you're actually going to go and do it. Otherwise, I wasted time away from my family to be here, and you're not going to waste my time, are you? No. Are you guys going to do this if I tell you? No. I'm dead serious, okay? Here's how simple it is. When I put coaching in front of someone, I do 3 things in that first message. I praise, disarm, and ask. Praise, disarm, ask. Let me explain this to you. So here's what I would say. Jimmy, I'm so excited to see how great you're doing with this program. Praise. I praise him. How simple is that? Can you do that? Can you do this? Disarm. I don't know if this is for you or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Here's the thing. Many of you are pushing people away because you're trying to force people to want it. Rather than just putting it in front of them and letting them say, hey, there's a road to the left and a road to the right. I don't know which one you want to take, but I'm going to bring you to the crossroads so you can make a choice. Right? So I don't know if this is for you or not, but have you ever considered, this is the ask, have you ever considered being a coach? How many of you can send that message and say that to somebody when you notice a green light moment in their lives, right? Can you do that? How easy is that? Praise, disarm, ask. Okay? And right now I'm going into 5 steps about coaching. And I'm doing it about coaching because I think that we need to build more coaches and we need to build a bigger network and we need to get this thing to 500,000 coaches instead of 170,000. And we need to do that in a friggin' rush. And if you guys just learn a few simple things, think about the power of that. If every one of you did this just 5 more times a month, that's 2,500 people that are gonna see coaching this month just from Chicago. What if every city did that in our network? How fast could we double our network in 3 months? We certainly could. But because we're letting some simple, little, stupid things get in our way, and we're not saying that we're not doing it the right way, and we're pushing people away, and we're getting in the way, so I'm teaching those simple things. So the next thing you have to do is set up what I call step 2, which is the interview. When they talk about, you saw all the leaders get good at asking questions, okay? I'm going to give you an exact formula that I now teach my team on the 5 steps. I would love to do an upgraded video on the 5 steps, by the way, okay, with corporate, okay? Because the one that we did was like in a whirlwind, and that was when it was like just copy and paste and send it, right? And we've come a long way since 3 years ago with this. But in the interview, I do this. I interview them on the 3 vital behaviors. Let me explain what I mean. Who wants to come up and role play with me? Come here, honey, right there. You were the first one with your hand up. So come on, give this girl a hand. All right, what is your name? Heather. Hey guys, this is Heather Blythe. I know you on Facebook. I think, yeah, right? Okay, awesome. She follows me. Well, I need to follow you because you're full of energy. I love it. So let's just say that Heather, we're going to do 2 things. Here's the first thing I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to 5-step her to become a challenger. Okay? And then I'm going to 5-step her on upgrading to be a coach. So you can see the full circle of what I would do with someone as a challenger, what I would do with them as a coach. Can we slow it down and go back to that? And so let's just say that Heather is someone. Now what I do is this. You know, you can do 2 things. Like you can openly promote through social media your upcoming things, or you can put stuff out there and attract people to you, or you can directly go to people one-on-one and send out invites one-on-one. If I'm going to go and send out invites one-on-one, I'm more likely to use what I call the can you help me approach. Hey, listen, I don't know if this is for you or not, I disarm them, but I was hoping you could help me. I'm looking for 5 new people that want to get started on losing at least 10 to 20 pounds in the next 60 days. Do you know anybody that might fit that bill that I could help? So that's what I would do if I was sending a step 1 invite, can you help me approach. Okay, but what I like to do is what you heard Melanie Midrow do, which is to create a following and then promote openly and attract people to you and then have the conversations with the people that came in. Does that make sense? But I gotta have a plan of what that conversation looks like. I either control that conversation or they do. Because a lot of times what happens is maybe I'll post something. How many of you post something and you say, hey, I'm starting a challenge group, and someone like Heather sends you a message, hey, I'm interested, how much is it? That's like the first message you get, right? And how many of you like totally jacked it up and you're like nervous? Oh my God, it's so expensive and it's $205 and they're not gonna want it. And oh my, you know, and then what you do is you jump right to step 4 and you go, whoa, here's all the details. And you try to detail it and fact act them to death right up front instead of just slowing it down. So let's say that I openly promoted, and here's Heather, right? And Heather sends me a message and she's like, hey, you know what? This 21-day fix thing sounds great. I've really been struggling with my food. Just curious, how much is it? And let's say she says that, right? Okay, would you say that? Do you get messages like that?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, all the time. So ask me that, how much is it?
How much is it?
How many of you would like to know how to answer that? This is like simple, stupid, easy stuff. I'm just telling you. It's so, because here, I'm going to answer it with a question. Or what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set up step 2. I'm going to take this and I'm going to control it with step 2, which is asking questions and interviewing, right? And I would simply say to her, well, that depends on how you purchase it. Why don't I ask you a few questions and we can go from there? So what did I just do? I set up step 2. See, most of you guys aren't setting that up. Most of you guys are just like, you don't set it up by just saying, hey, why don't I'm going to set up the interview. Hey, we're going to slow down. I'm going to ask you some questions. We can go from there. So that's what I do. I'm just going to ask you some questions and we can go from there. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, absolutely. Let's just say we got on the phone, right? And I would say, so Heather, talk to me. What made you interested in this 21-day fix plan?
Well, the 21-day concept, I know that has a lot to do with forming new habits, and I'm really struggling with my food intake. My husband's always eating on the road. He goes through a lot of drive-thrus, and I want to get our household more focused on eating healthy and right. So if and when we decide to have kids, we can have that solid base of healthy eating in our home without making it too tricky. And I want to lose weight.
So, which is awesome. When I interview her as a challenger, I'm interviewing her on the equation, fitness plus nutrition plus support. Those are the 3 things I'm going to ask questions about. The 3 things that are challenge groups, right? And I'm going to say, well, great, how long have you been struggling with your nutrition in your family?
Forever.
Really, forever? So you've never had healthy eating habits?
I mean, hit and miss, but never anything I ever stuck to.
Yeah, awesome. I can understand that. So let me ask you a question. So what are you doing for exercise? Is exercise something you're interested in as well?
Yeah, definitely something more regular. I struggle with motivation and, accountability, because I'll start something and then, I'll stop because nobody else is there to do it with me.
Okay, so how many times in the last 5 years would you say you've started and stopped something?
9.
Wow, so like 9 times. So you have a history of starting and then stopping. Why do you think that happens?
I don't know. I'm Sapphire.
Danny, talk.
I'm role playing, but yeah. Well, because, I don't know. I just couldn't stick to it and nobody, I don't know, it just kind of got boring and I got distracted and I wasn't focused.
Okay, have you ever done one of our Beachbody programs before? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Pretend like you have.
No. No, not at all.
Okay, so you've never done an actual program that's designed to work beginning to end that takes out all the guesswork for you?
No.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk a little bit about that accountability. Do you have anybody else that wants to work out with you and eat healthy with you? Would your husband be on board?
Probably not. Maybe eating if I cooked it for him.
Okay, that's great. Well, we can make that happen. So do you feel like you would benefit from being part of a group of people who are sharing and helping each other through the program?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I still don't know if this is something that's exactly for you or not. It sounds like it is. So a lot of times when I'm asking these questions, I'm looking for green light moments that tell me whether or not this is for you, or whether it's something that will help you in your life. So I give her the green light moment thing, right? So just to make sure this is something that you're willing to invest in, so I'm setting up expense with that word. Just to make sure this is something you're willing to invest in. That's a question that's something I say. If I show you a video that tells you more about our challenge groups, would you have 3 minutes to watch that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I take it, now I'm in step 3. All I did was I slowed down and asked some questions, right? Do you guys understand that? And it wasn't a lot of questions, but fitness, nutrition, support. But in those questions, I'm setting up what I'm going to show her. I'm setting up the video. How many of you are, listen, I use the videos. I don't do my own presentations because I figure Carl is a lot friggin' smarter than I am, and his video presentations are pretty well put together. I mean, he's only got a $700 million company. Like, how many of you think he's pretty smart and knows how to put a video together? So I use his stuff. Why recreate the wheel, right? Why do I use his stuff? Because I can teach my coaches to use his stuff. Now they don't have to feel like they got to create something new. So I go find these are the two videos that I use. Have you ever felt like this? And customer success stories. Those are the two videos I use now. I personally, and I'm going to give you this website. You can use my team's website. The videos don't connect to anybody else. What we've done is we've taken all the most used videos and put them on one YouTube page. Okay, so what I teach my team to do is go to that page, get the videos on YouTube, because people can watch YouTubes on their phones, and it's just easier to get to versus digging through the office videos. So youtube.com/swarm, S-W-A-R-M, swarm video 1. There's about 12 videos on there. Those are the videos that we use the most often. But for new challengers, now let's say that if she wants the 21-day fix, I might show her the 21-day fix video. But I love to show the have you ever, like if she's someone that's been struggling and she feels like crap, the have you ever felt like this video works. So when I'm interviewing her, I'm figuring out which video is going to be best for her. But it's usually either the program video, or it's have you ever felt like this, plus the customer success stories. Because I'm selling her not just on a program, but on the group. And on what the group does. And I know that when she goes and watches that video, it talks about the whole piece. The fitness plus nutrition plus support. I'm selling her on the equation through that video. Does that make sense? Versus just a fitness program. So if I show her just P90X3 video, that video doesn't sell her on Shakeology or the accountability of a support group. That's why I use the challenge group videos, because it's the whole package. Everybody understand that? So let's just say that she watches the video. So I say, if, now you gotta write that down. If I would you, that's from GoPro. If I would you, that's how I bridge from step 2 to step 3. That's how I bridge to giving her the video. If I send you a video that tells you more about our challenge groups, would you have a few minutes to watch it?
Absolutely.
Okay, when could you watch that right now, or would later tonight be better?
Later tonight.
Later tonight? So are you working right now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So Heather, I'm gonna be in control. I want you to write that down. The person asking questions wins. The person explaining loses. How much have I explained so far? I have not explained anything, right? I've asked questions, I've let her talk, and I've led her down the path. Can you guys figure out how to do that? Honestly, is it that hard? How many of you though, like when she says, here's how you do it wrong, okay? Is this, let's say I put a post out, she sends me a message saying, how much is it?
How much is it?
Well, it's $205 and you get this great challenge pack. And in the this is how most coaches do this, right? They screw it up and they go, well, let me tell you about the challenge pack. Well, in the challenge pack, and they go into, you know, you got the workout video, and the workout video has the guide, and you're gonna get this crazy, incredible group in the shake that like will make you fart for 3 weeks when you first start drinking it. But it's awesome. I promise that like it will change your life. This one shake is gonna make you go from like 300 pounds to like 96 pounds overnight. That's how incredible the shake is. Most of you are overwhelming people, and then you wonder why they run. Listen, nobody likes to get puked on. Stop puking on people, and you'll sign more people up, and you'll help more people in their lives. Right? Do you like to get vomited on? Seriously, listen, I went and looked at a house in Florida with my wife, because we were checking out a house in Florida because she doesn't want to live in Ohio in the winter, and I don't really freaking blame her. How many of you don't want to live in Chicago in the winter because it sucks, right? So we go to so I'm like a little bit excited. I go to this house in Florida, right? And this real estate guy doesn't ask me a single question. Doesn't ask me a single question. He walks me and he's like, hey, check out these hurricane shutters. I'm from Ohio, I don't know crap about a hurricane shutter. Why are you showing me that, right? And all he did was just talk about how great the house is and talk about this. Listen, the house was great, he sucked. I went home, I called a different real estate agent and said, hey, can you show me that same house? I didn't want to work with the guy. Why? Because he vomited on me. I'm telling you right now, if you learn how to 5-step people, you could go blow real estate up, you can go blow insurance, you could blow anything up. You can run circles around all the other salespeople who suck. The reason people don't want to be salesy is because salespeople suck. If you learn to do what I'm saying, salespeople would be great if they had a better image because they were a person of service and a person of understanding and a person who asks questions, write this down, ask questions, shut up and listen. Shut up and listen. So that's what most people do, okay? How many of you, does that help you to see me five-step her? Okay? So now all I gotta do is get her back on the phone. She's watched the video that night. I schedule when she's gonna watch the video. So you're gonna watch the video. What time tonight would you say you're gonna be able to watch the video?
Probably 5:30.
Okay. So like 5:30. Well, listen, okay, so I'm not working tonight. Are you gonna be available tomorrow morning if I follow up with you?
Probably not. I get off work at 4:30 though.
Okay, great. When would be the best time for me to follow up with you in the next 24 hours?
Like 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So great. I'm going to follow up with you at 5 p.m. tomorrow night. What did I do? I just scheduled the follow-up. How many of you are not scheduling the follow-up? And you're losing people, right? You're losing people because there's no plan to it. So the next night I follow up with her and I say, hey, Heather, did you have a chance to watch that video?
I did.
Great. What did you like about that?
Autumn's a rockin' valley. Taters look like fun.
Great. So did you come to a better understanding of what we do with our challenge groups?
Yeah, looks like a lot of support. I like it.
Do you see how our challenge groups can help answer all of the questions that you had about fitness, nutrition, and accountability?
Yes.
Great. So, so this looks like something that you're willing to invest in?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Why don't we go ahead and get you started? Are you at your computer?
Give me a minute.
Okay, so give her a minute. I'm going to enroll her now. I'm going to bring her to step 5. I'm going to enroll her, right? How many of you can do that, though? Can you slow down and ask some questions, show them a video, follow up, enroll them? See, when we go to enrollment, if you've done the groundwork, it's kind of like tilling a field, right? So people are like a field. In their minds and in their heart, they're like a field, right? So what happens is this. If we don't take the time to till the field, then there's no sense in planting the seed. But if we slow down and we ask some questions and we loosen up the dirt and we get them thinking and we get them talking about why everything else hasn't worked and show them why what we have does work, now we've solved their problem. Does that make sense? But slowing down, asking the questions is like tilling the field, getting it soft. Now we plant the seed with the video and what we do, and then we follow up. She's already in. When she watches the video, she's in. It's not hard work after that. Okay? So now let's say that we're a month in, you did your first round of 21-day fix, and let's say that you lost 12 pounds, and your husband lost 14, just on the food. Just doing the food, because she cooked it and put it in the containers for him, right? And let's say that you're excited, and you send me a message, and you say, she doesn't send me a message. I follow up with her and say, hey Heather, hey, so I'm so excited that you ended your 21-day fix. Why don't you tell me about how it went?
It was awesome. I lost 12 pounds working out. I feel better. I fit into all my clothes. Only downside is I have to buy new clothes. And my husband lost 14 pounds, but he only 8. It was cool.
Awesome. Well, it's something that you sound super excited about. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited would you say you are?
Like a 13.
I like to use the scale of 1 to 10 thing to feel them out, right? I want to see where they're at. Because if she says I'm a 3, I'm not going to put coaching in front of her. She's not ready yet. But if she's like, I'm a 13, then now I'm going to do what? I'm going to praise, disarm, and ask. I'm going to praise, disarm, and ask. So we're going to 5-step on coaching now, all right? So, well, awesome, man. It sounds like you and your husband have done great, and it sounds like it's something that you plan on continuing doing.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, listen, I'm so excited that you've done well and that you've lost 12 pounds and your husband's lost 14. And I don't know if this is for you or not, but if you plan on continuing, it might be something that's for you. Have you ever considered being a coach?
No.
Okay. Do you have, you just said no? No?
I never thought it.
Most people say, well, I've never really thought about it. I don't even know what it is. Most people will say that, right? Well, what is it? Right? That's what they'll say.
What is it?
No, but you'll say, well, I don't even know what it is, or something like that, right? So have you ever considered being a coach?
What is it? I don't know what it is. Tell me more.
Okay, great. Well, why don't I ask you a few questions and we can go from there?
Sounds good.
Why don't I ask you a few questions and we can go from there, right? So I don't know if it's for something or you or not, but the way I want to get to step 2, now I'm going to interview her on the 3 vital behaviors. Product of the product, which I already did a little bit. I asked her some questions. Do you plan on continuing, right? So I asked her I already did the product of the product stuff. So you were saying that this is something that you plan on continuing doing. Would you want to tell me more about why you plan on continuing?
It's the first thing I've ever stuck to. I felt great having other people to share my experience with, and I mean, I want to see what else I'm capable of.
Okay, awesome. No, which is great. No, that's perfect. No, I'm just going to ask you some questions just to make sure that this might be something for you. I don't want everybody and anybody just to enroll as a coach, and so what I want to do is make sure this is a good fit for you and something that you would actually do and that would benefit you and your family, right? I'm not begging her to be a coach. I want to slow down and ask questions to make sure it's a good fit. Okay, so how did you like the workouts?
I liked them a lot. I thought they were fun. I liked that there was a modifier on days that I was hurting, and I felt like they were, just enough time. Fit in my day. No excuses.
Great. So have you already talked to other people about the fix and what you've been doing with it?
Yeah, everybody in my office has been asking me what I've been doing.
That's a question. That's an invite question. Now I'm going to go to people. Do you have people you're talking to? Has people asked you about it? So how many people would you say have either commented or asked about it?
Like 9.
Like 9 people? Like in the last couple weeks?
Well, more than that in the last couple weeks, but just 9 people from my office, my family, my husband, his friends.
Okay, great. Could you see yourself helping some of those people get started just like I helped you?
Yeah, I think that was a huge struggle with why I ever didn't start. I didn't have people to help me, but now that I know, I'd love to help other people. Okay, great.
And one final question about that. Would making additional money for your family be something that you're opposed to? Now listen, I asked this. I asked it that way, like, would you be opposed to making additional money? Why? Because money is a touchy subject, isn't it? Right? And so instead of me saying, oh man, it's great, you can make all kinds of money, I want to get her to agree that she would not be opposed to making money. To me, it's a great question, right? Would you be opposed to making some additional money by helping those people?
No, I would not be opposed to that.
Right? So I already set up the fact, would you help people? Would you mind getting paid for that? I told her about the business, but I didn't tell her about it. I asked her questions about it. Does that make sense to you guys? Or not? So, and that's invite. So now I'm going to go to personal development. And how many of you have struggled, like you sign up coaches and you can't get them through the quick start, and you can't get them through Coach Basics, and you can't even get them going, right? If you do it this way, you're going to get more people through the quick start, okay? You're going to get more people into Coach Basics. How many of you want that? You want a team of people that go out there and willingly do what the hell we do. That's what we're doing. We want people that do what we do. So I'm going to go to personal development, and I'm going to say, so listen, just a few final questions. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a team player would you say you are?
9.
Okay, I asked that question because if she's a crappy team player, I probably don't want her. I'm going to fire her before I hire her. How many of you don't want a team of life-sucking people who bitch, whine, and complain? Right? You don't. So I'm doing this for me. I'm asking her for me. Okay? So I want to know if she's a team player, so I ask that question, the team player question. Okay? And then I say, would taking some time and going through some very simple training to learn what we do as coaches be something that you could see yourself doing?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's it. I'm setting her up for training. Well, listen, again, I don't know if it's for you or not, but everything that you've told me seems to fit with what coaches do and what we do. So if I send you a video that tells you more about coaching, would you have 10 minutes to watch it?
Absolutely.
That's it. And then I would send her what? Introducing Team Beachbody. Right? Introducing Team Beachbody. It's on the same website that I gave you. You can find it in your online office. Does that make sense? So, hey guys, let's give Heather a big round of applause. Awesome. So, all right. Do you think that helps?
Yes.
I'm looking at we need to do an updated 5-step training.
Yes, I agree.
Because here's where people struggle with the 5 steps is this. They don't know how to bridge from one step to another, and there's little tag phrases that you can use that sets it up, right? Like from step 1 to step 2, the bridge, so I teach bridges now, and then I teach the 3 steps in the interview. That's what I do, okay? And it all makes sense because Denise has never heard this, have you?
No.
This is, but because I've only been teaching this to my team. You're the first audience to hear this, right? And if you guys want me to do that, I would be more than happy to do that. So go back and talk to whoever and let them know. How many of you would like to see a new training on the 5 steps in the online office that demonstrated something like this? Okay, awesome. I love the hands, man. I love you guys. You make me feel good. Like sometimes I'm up here and I'm like, I don't know if they like me, because I can be a little bit raw sometimes, and I say the crap word and poop and stuff like that. But here's where people fail on the 5 steps. This is where people fail. One, they don't understand how to control the conversation by bridging to step 2. They don't bridge it. And how I bridge is this. Why don't I ask you a few questions and we can go from there? How many of you can use that line? Is that something you can learn? Is that something you can show other people how to do? Pretty simple, right? Okay, and then I interview, and then to bridge to step 3 is the whole Eric Worre GoPro thing. Would you? If I send you a video, would you have 10 minutes to watch it? If I showed you a way that you could get what you need to lose that 20 pounds, would you be willing to make the investment and get started? Right? If I could guarantee you a program that doesn't allow for failure if you follow it, would you find the money to invest in it? If I would you. If I would you is a masterful thing. I'm so glad that I read GoPro because we added it in. All right? So if I would you, how we bridge. And then learning how to send the videos, but scheduling the follow-up when you send the video. Here's the 2 things. So I heard Amber Scott say, you gotta get good at setting the expectations. Telling you to get good at setting the expectations, she's right, you do. Telling you what to do versus showing you how to do it are 2 different things. So that's does that make sense? Because sometimes we hear things and we're like, well, that's great, but I don't know how to set the expectations. So here's how you set the expectations on the follow-up. One is, when can you watch this video? So I asked, if I sent you this video, would you be able to watch it right now? I want to schedule the watch immediately, if I can. If they say no, then I say, when in the next 24 hours would you be able to watch it? I want them to watch that video. Nothing should go past 24 hours. How many of you send videos out and you have no idea if they watched it or not for like 2 weeks? And you're losing people because of it. All because of you're missing a simple skill, which is setting the appointment. I told you, if you want to build a business, you got to get good at it. Does the doctor's office set appointments? Yes. Right? If you had a doctor's office that just took walk-ins all the time, what kind of doctor would you think he is? That's called the emergency room. Don't be an emergency room for people, right? Get good at setting appointments. That's what professional people do. Do you want to be professional at this, or do you want to continue being a hobbyist and making $50 a week or a month, right? If you learn to do what I'm doing, guys, you can do incredible things, all right? So, where was I? Damn, I get off track and I start talking. But setting the appointments, right? So scheduling the watch and scheduling the follow-up. If you do those 2 things, now you're setting the expectation. When they're going to watch it and when you're going to follow up. Great, I'll Facebook you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Now I better do what? I better show up and follow through with what I said I was going to do. How many of you tell somebody you're going to do something and then you fail to send it? I'll send you this video. Hey, yeah, man, I'll send you some information on that. And you're at the store, you're at somewhere. I'll send you the information, and then like 2 weeks later, like, oh crap, I didn't send the information. And then you feel like crap. Now you feel like you let somebody down, which creates all kinds of tension in your own mind, right? All kinds of doubt, all that stuff, right? So you just slowed yourself down versus just getting home or getting on your phone and sending it immediately. Learn to do things in the immediate moment. That's what I say, immediately. When you do it, for me, that works. Or have a scheduled time that you know you're working your business. If you have a family, how many of you have a family, you have a full-time job, and you're like, I don't know how to fit this in. Listen, I don't care if it's like Tuesdays are my promoting and prospecting, and Thursdays are my follow-up days. You can schedule those in. I'm going to prospect for an hour, I'm going to follow up for an hour. So I'm going to prospect an hour on Tuesdays, I'm going to follow up for an hour on, right? Can you guys do that? You want to schedule that in. So listen, hopefully that helps you. But I'm a firm believer in this, guys. I'm a firm believer in that every single person that's in here is capable of helping more people. Every single person in here is capable of learning how to find challengers and how to upgrade people to coaches. If you just master those things, you can build a business, because this business is pretty simple. If you complicate it, you won't build it. If you keep it simple and do things that you can show other people to do. Why is it the challenge group system? Because it's a system. Does that make sense? It's a system. You either follow the system or you do your own thing. But the system is designed that you can easily show others to do. Can you plug your people into the Coach Training Academy and let all of these other professionals train them? Can you do that? It's not that hard. You don't have to train everybody on it. Put them in the CTA and let the CTA train them. All right? So listen, I thank you guys for having me here. I know that my time is up. I'm a few minutes over. I appreciate everyone in Chicago. I'm glad that you had me here this weekend, and I want to thank Lyndsi and the other leaders for putting this together. Thank you so much.
Yes, keep clapping. We just passed out the waivers for the workout, so please get that filled out, and then we'll get you guys changed up. Good. We're gonna get even better. So we wanted to thank you so very much for driving all the way here, taking time away from your family to be with us. We know how important family is and how much they probably miss you right now. And so wanted to get you a little something for your baby.
I went to the Cubs game 2 days ago.
Oh, that's right.
No.
I really think the blue and the red looks better. I really do. What do you guys think? Blue and red? Blue and red? Blue and red?
I will make sure to take pictures of my little girl.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming and training and teaching. How many of you feel so much better right now? Yeah? And you're comfortable, you're ready to go home and talk to people? You know what to say? We did get this on video, so we will post it to Team Chicago's page so you guys can go back and really take some notes. That was a lot. And so I think we are ready to work out. Who wants to work out? All right. Okay, we want to do a Team Chicago picture before y'all get nasty and sweaty. Real quick, so who wants to organize? I don't organize these things.
This is why Lyndsi and Mary and I have worked so well together this time, because our personalities all balance each other, so we just make this work. Okay, so there are more of you in that side than on this side, so I think if we have our DJ, maybe we'll give him a camera, have him take a picture from the stage, going down this way. He's a coach, he's not going to be in it. We'll find somebody to take a picture for us. Maybe Cindy's around somewhere, I can have her. Yeah, we'll find somebody. So I want you guys to stay where you are in your rows, but maybe move in, squeeze in towards the aisle. So stay in the row you're in. Hey John, can you help us with taking the picture? Thank you. And we'll have John up higher than you, so we'll just squeeze everybody in as we can.